Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
Social media can be a great tool for interacting with folks. I like it. I got a Facebook page, Need to Know with Jeff Angelo. Give it a like. You and I can chat back and forth on that page. But of course, social media has got its downside. Man, you can scroll through it, and so many people are angry and they're so negative. Now there's a new term about how to effectively use social media. It's called JoyScrolling. JoyScrolling. Stress management expert Mark Schillinger is on the Newsmaker line to talk to me about it. Mark, welcome to Iowa Radio. Good morning. What is the term JoyScrolling? What does that mean?
Well, it means it's the opposite of doom scrolling, which came out, fairly recently about people who just spend so much time scrolling on their different feeds and looking at things that are all negative and can actually make them sick. Joy scrolling is the exact opposite, which basically says if you have to scroll, then make it focused on things that are positive and productive, like staying in touch with loved ones or looking at places around the world that you may want to visit and do research about and scroll for that, or look at things that you want to learn more about, like recipes or historical events or personal growth topics like learning how to meditate or have better relationships, like focusing on things that will make your brain secrete chemicals like endorphins and serotonin that will make you feel good versus scrolling about things that actually are making people anxious and depressed, like always scrolling about negative things.
Yeah. Mark, I like to use Twitter as a news feed, but man, people are so angry on Twitter. You gotta scroll through a lot of anger to get to those stories. You're a stress management expert, Mark. What is the impact on our mental health if we're getting exposed to such negativity every day on social media?
Oh my God, it's really serious, Jeff. I mean, I've been working with patients for 36 years on controlling stress, and I've never seen so many people anxious and depressed because of their devices, let alone scrolling on them all day long. Essentially what happens is scrolling, especially on negative issues, puts the brain into fight or flight. And all these chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol testosterone can get released. These chemicals are meant to be released for like a few seconds in case there's danger. And if there's no danger, then we go back to being relaxed. The danger of all the scrolling is that our brains want to participate and get that instant gratification. So we're constantly secreting the adrenaline and the cortisol. We get sick. It affects our digestive tract, our cardiovascular tract, our immune system. We're getting sick from all the scrolling is basically what's happening.
Well, and Mark, this is just a theory I've had. I have no particular expertise in this, and I want to throw this at you, but I feel like people are addicted to the anger. Like that's giving them some kind of adrenaline rush that they're addicted to, and they need the anger, and they're tweeting angrily, and they're putting angry things on Facebook. Is that a thing? Does that actually happen?
Well, it's happening all the time now. I mean, look at all the polarization that's happening in our country based on the elections and many other things. With these devices now, people feel like they're experts on everything just because they have a place like on Twitter to voice it. And since people don't know the real antidote, which is learning how to relax quickly, which is really what I teach my patients, how to relax in 15 seconds or less. So they have this feeling come up, and then instead of learning to count to 10, so to speak, they just get right on their Twitter feed or something else, and they just shout out what they think or feel. People react to that. They then shout back, and then this is what's happening. We're creating a world of people just screaming at each other. Nothing's productive. Again, as I said before, people are getting sick from this, so it's better to joy scroll or just avoid the devices altogether. I teach my patients how to practice letting go of the devices so much by going shopping without it or going for walks without it. It's good to learn to put the thing down.
Yeah, I think that's number one, Mark. You're absolutely right. Put it down every once in a while. And then number two, one of the things I've learned is all the social media has some kind of function where you can mute the people who are just furious all the time. And I imagine if you're going to joy scroll, you really do have to be discerning as to who you allow in your feed and who you don't. Am I right?
Oh, my God. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is so important that we just stay focused on positive and productive things, especially right now because there's so much turmoil in the country. So as I said before, like if people know what they're really interested in, what's really positive, like I teach my patients how to have healthy lifestyles, even when they're really super busy, if you're going to scroll, please only make it that you're looking for things that are positive. Delete all the things that are negative if you possibly can. And after a while, you'll just start getting more positive things to look at versus all the negative, which, as I said before, makes people literally sick.
No, it's true, Mark. And one more question for you. I'll point the finger at me, which is, it feels good to sort of vent on social media. We got to look at our own postings, don't we, and participate in the positivity?
I really think so. Listen, I run a nonprofit called the Young Men's Ultimate Weekend. It's a modern rite of passage initiation for young men, all young men. And so I work with young men quite a bit. And I hear from them how negative they feel about the leadership in this country and how the adults are kind of screwing things up. And they're seeing all this on their devices. So it's up to us as the adults to start putting way more positive things in front of everybody to look at, because the world can only change when we're exposed to more positive things. Otherwise, we're going to continue down this path of anger, and really sickness is really what I see coming more and more. And the research really bears it out.
Yeah, absolutely. He is an expert on managing stress. Mark Schillinger with some really important comments. Mark, thanks very much for taking the time with me today.